Alright, so I've ordered the new screen. The old one is still kind of not working. It turns on and then it just goes red, so I think probably the ribbon cable is damaged. Whether that was my fault or whether it was due to the corrosion that was already on it, I don't really know. I don't think I damaged it, so I'm going to go with it was the corrosion. And maybe when I cleaned it off, it just did more damage, or it removed some of the material that was connecting it when I was cleaning it, and then that meant it just didn't work at all. Yeah, so I've ordered this new screen from eBay. It was, I think it was about £14. I'll put a listing on here if I can find it. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm really hoping this is going to work. I don't know if it's a brand new screen because it does have some scratches on it already. Might see if I can get those off at all, if it works, but yeah. We're going to try and fit it first. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. So we'll take our iFixit toolkit, not sponsored, unfortunately, and let's open it up. So we've done this once before, so hopefully you'd think I'd remember how to do it. Well, we'll see. Wrong screwdriver bit to start with. Okay, that's the bottom screen out. Managed to drop some of the buttons and stuff, but that's probably fine. Those there. Right, next, need to get these two screws out. So 2 more crossheads. Then we can take the hinge off. One. Two. And then need to get this out of the way, and we take this part and we push the ribbon cable through the hinge. This is now this is the part I'm dreading. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that's that done. And then now we're left with this part, which is the top screen, which is the bit we need to replace. Okay, so now we need to just take off these 4 screws. Then we'll be able to slide the back off and get this screen out. Once we've done that, there'll be some speakers we need to desolder, and then we can put in the new one. Actually, first, before we do that, I think it's probably a good idea if we test the new screen. Right, so I think if we take this bottom board and we push the battery against it like so, we can then connect it up with a main screen to it and just try it outside of the rest of the case. I think that should work. I hope. So what we're going to need to do, you're going to need to plug in this ribbon cable. I'm hoping that if I don't plug in the antennas for the mic and the speakers, or the mic and the Wi-Fi, is it? I don't know. It's still going to work. I don't see why it shouldn't. So let's try this. In fact, before I do that, check out the connector. Because I heard one of the possible problems is having bent pins in the connector. I don't see any. I think that looks fine. So yep, so let's try this. So I'm being very careful here. Don't want to damage the new screen. It wasn't too cheap. I mean, it wasn't super expensive, but you know, I mean, it wasn't that cheap either. Right, I think that's in. So let's push the connector down. Okay, that's locked in. And then very, very carefully, we're going to get the battery and we're going to put it in place. And we're going to hold it in place and try and turn it on. I'm going to hold the battery in place with my finger and I'm going to try and turn it on. That's not working. Right, so again, I'm going to try and I can't do this. Right, so I don't actually care if the bottom screen works. So what I'm going to do, I'm having a bit of trouble doing it. So I'm just going to hold it like this, and then I can make sure I'm lining the battery up. Push it in place, and then balancing it like this, can try and turn it on. Okay, we have power. And we don't have any screens coming on. Okay, that's not a good sign. Maybe I need it to be a little bit more together than this. I'm not sure. Let's take this out. Alright, so what we'll try and do, I'll try and assemble it a little bit more and we'll see if that works. Because maybe it's not working either because these aren't plugged in, or it could also be because this Wi-Fi board isn't on. So let's assemble it a little bit more and we'll try again. Right, I'm going to try and put in the Wi-Fi card, I think. Yeah, I think that might work. If I put in the Wi-Fi card, just going to use this to hold the bottom screen in place. So if I put in the Wi-Fi card here, I think the reason it's not starting up is probably going to be because it's got some parts that aren't connected. So we can kind of solve that. There we are, we got the Wi-Fi card in now. So next thing is we want to connect the screen back up. Lovely. Oh yes. Yes. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it came up with the Nintendo logo. Let's try it again. Yes. It's working. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, off it goes. And let's unplug that ribbon connector. Very carefully. Okay, good. So we know the new screen works, which is amazing. I'm glad that works. Oh, I'm sweating, and not because it's hot in here. Honestly, when I got it out and I saw that ribbon cable had already been folded, I was a little bit worried it wasn't going to work, but apparently that's fine. I'm really glad. Okay, so that was, believe it or not, the easy part. Thinking of finding out a way to test that. This is going to be the difficult part. Getting this ribbon connector out of the hinge and then figuring out a way to get this one through the hinge without damaging it. Okay, so we need to now take out these 4 screws, and then we'll be able to slide off this back panel, get the old screen out, and then put the new one in. So let's get started with that. And then we should be able to slide this out and should just pull apart. Maybe. There we go. Definitely helps having some sort of pry tool. Right, so take out the speakers and the screens. Now, I think this just presses out, if I'm honest. Yep. So it is kind of stuck in with some adhesive. So I'm going to try and be careful not to break any of the plastic. Got it? Now the ribbon cable. This is the bit I'm worried about. This is the bit I'm most worried about. Not as much with the old screen, but when it comes to getting the new screen in, Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Maybe if I take these wires out first, it'll have a bit more room. I think this one is a microphone. Okay. Microphone removed. And I think this one is a wireless card, maybe? Something to do with... Actually, maybe it's an antenna. That would make more sense, given that we saw the wireless board on this one. And now, the tricky part. I don't like the noises this thing is making. Oh my god. Oh jeez. Oh, for please. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm not looking forward to doing that again in reverse. Right. I want to have a look at this screen. Sorry, at this ribbon cable a bit more and see if we can tell why it's broken, but first thing first, let's get these speakers desoldered. Yeah, let's do that first. That way we don't damage them. Alright, got my fume extractor, aka a fan, set up. Yeah, we're budget here for now. I got some solder, so I think first things first, we should probably start off by putting some solder on the new pads, and then we can just transfer the speaker wires over like one at a time so that I remember where they go. Let's give this a try. No idea how this is going to go. Wish me luck. And of course, soldering iron was not hot enough. Right, I've got the soldering iron set to 340 degrees now. Hopefully that's hot enough. I don't know why the solder wasn't sticking to the pads. That's not really working. I'm having trouble tinning these pads. The solder blobs just kind of seem to be merging together. And it seems like the soldering iron's not heating, it's having a really tough time heating up the solder. I'm wondering if it's worth just getting this solder off and starting again. Oh, there, wait. That'll do. Yes, okay, that'll do. That's good enough. It's very pointy at the moment, the blobs of solder. Solder? Tin. The blobs of tin are very the blobs of solder are very kind of pointy. Now, from what I've heard, that's probably because there's no flux on it at the moment. So maybe if I add some, it'll look a little bit better. Might try that. The soldering iron seems to be having a really hard time. Seems to be having a really hard time to actually melt the solder. I don't know if it's because I just am using the tip and I should be using the side. Okay, to me that looks a lot better. I think the flux helped. I also turned up the soldering iron again to 350. That seems very high temperature. Seems like a very high temperature, to be honest. I'm not sure if that's down to this rubbish solder that I've been using. It's just the one that came with the kit the soldering iron was in. So maybe it's just really rubbish. I don't know. Yeah, it's probably just that, to be honest. Alright, so we've tinned that up. So let's get the speaker wires transferred. Well, let's try. In fact, I'm going to add a bit more flux to this. Especially given the trouble I had with the new one, trying to get the solder to stick. Maybe this will help. We can only hope. Oh yeah, that was a lot easier. Okay. Believe it or not, this was actually the the part of this I was looking forward to. Okay. I think that's on. And that one's on. Okay. I will check at the end to see if it looks like those two are bridged, touching each other, the two solder blobs, because they do look very close. Hopefully it's okay. So we've got one more speaker now. And the wires on this one are the opposite way around, so you need to remember that when we're putting them on. Okay. This is very fiddly. The solder's melting nice and easily now though, which is good. Right, I think that's done. Let's check this out. So this is the old screen, and this is the ribbon cable. And yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but it might not come across on the camera, but this ribbon cable is totally, it looks very brittle. Brittle? Is that the right word? I don't know. But it's curved. It's like, you can see it's completely like warped almost, and it just feels very, I don't know, tough and not flexible. This one feels slightly more flexible, the new one. But either way, we'll get rid of that for now. Actually, there's one more thing we need this for. There's a protector. I don't know if it's a protector or a polarizer. This thing attached to the front of the screen. This thing with the white bezel. I think we need to transfer that over to the new one. So before we do that, let's clean up the new screen. Think that's enough? That might be a few too many. Nice. Nice. That wasn't too bad. Alright, now comes the bit I have been absolutely dreading, which is putting this screen back in and somehow managing to get it to fit through this hinge. Yeah, wish me luck. Oh, actually, I think we need to put the ribbon cable through before we can even lay it down. Okay, so here goes nothing. I'm gonna roll it. I said very carefully. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It just feels wrong. I just feel like I'm doing something wrong. I just feel like this isn't right. I'm sure there's a technique to this, but I clearly don't have it. Oh, maybe. Nope. I don't like this. I really don't like this. I hate this. Actually, I might give the hinge a clean because I can kind of see there's still some corrosion kicking around on it. Yeah, let's do that. Distract me from having to do this for a second. But seriously though, there is a lot of corrosion, or whatever this is. There's a lot of stuff on this hinge. That's got to be one of the main reasons it wasn't working before. I wonder actually if I can put it through without having this on and then put that on afterwards. Maybe that would be easier. Yeah, let's try that. That sounds smart. Because this is a bigger hole than this is. So surely it would be easier. So I noticed this hinge is kind of cracked. The plastic is at least. I think what I might do Let's put a tiny bit of glue on this just to stop it from breaking anymore. I think that might be a good idea. Let's see if I can find some. Alright, so I found two options. I found, the first one I found was this super glue. It's just super glue. The second one I found was this Tamiya extra thin cement. This, this actually melts the plastics together and makes it one solid piece. I don't know if it's going to work on the sort of plastic that this is. But I feel like that would definitely make it stronger, and potentially help hide the crack if they melt together a bit. The downside is it might melt and it might look misshapen, but I could probably sand it down if that does happen and make it smooth again. I might try it. Okay, and I need the tiniest amount. And I'm going to try and get it only where the crack is. Alright, well, I'm impatient. Hopefully that's long enough. It's been about maybe 30 seconds. A minute, maybe. If I'm being generous. I'm going to try and get the screen in again. Because, I really want this bit to be over. Right. This is the moment of truth. Game. Okay. What do you think? Is it going to work? Come on. Oh no. Oh no. The power switch. No. I didn't line up and the volume switched it. No. Oh, it's a disaster. Alright, really sorry about that. Let's try again. Oh, yes! Okay, it's working. Okay, that's awesome. Oh dear. I obviously wasn't paying attention when I put it back together. I didn't line the buttons up. And tilting the screen, it still works. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Nice. Right, so this has been a success. If you enjoyed this, please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll definitely be putting out more videos. I've got a few ideas, but if there's anything in particular you want to see me try and fix, please do comment and let me know, and I will try my best. No promises though, because I am an idiot.